Okay, folks, welcome back. Now presented in horizontal vision. Man, this thing was stinky. That is a stinky ass red. Let's clear this area up a little bit. Getting out of hand a little bit. Let's get our metal colors back where they belong. Need to make space in the case there to fit these guys. I put some of them up there, but you know, I've got like 9 vehicles now, and they're growing. I'm getting one done about every 2 days. That's about right, something like that. It's not a race, but there's a lot of cool stuff I want to do. All right, so we're going to work on this guy here, which this is a Maisto originally, and let's put the super readers on. And this is the color it came in. And I wish I could turn this fan. It's a little too loud and a little too distracting. This is a Maisto. It came in this green color. We gave it a flat coat and a brown wash on it. Okay, this thing originally was called, I believe it was Slayer. Yeah, Slayer. So we designed this thing, and it's going to be the first vehicle that I do something new with. Okay, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I like to design these things before I put them together. So I don't want something with a bunch of rams, and then when you go and play it, it has no rams. I don't want something that looks like it's got a flamethrower, and then it doesn't have a flamethrower. If it's going to have rockets on it, I want it to have rockets. It makes sense to me. That's how my mind works. Okay? So, with that said, and this chair is, I'm about ready to throw it out, but then I have to sit Indian style, and you wouldn't be able to see. I wouldn't be able to do anything. Can you say sitting Indian style? Well, you know what I mean. So we use this book to design this particular vehicle, and it's the first vehicle that we're going to design that has something that nothing else has ever had. And I don't necessarily mean a weapon. I mean what they call a gimmick is what I was going to call it. No, it's a trait. It's not called a trait. It's called something else. It's called these nomenclatures that they use in this game. Perks. A perk. That's what it is. It's the first one that's going to be as a perk. Okay? And so perks in this game, I believe you get them as part of your team, or you're allowed to buy them based on a part of your team. And most teams can have 3 to 4. You still have to pay stuff for it. And I don't want to do those teams, okay? Because those teams are silly. Not all of them are silly, but half of them are not the narrative that I want, to have. So I'm designing all the vehicles that everybody's going to use already the way they are with their cards, so you can just go immediately. And I'm going to try to do these categories where there's multiple vehicles that have the same. I'm going to turn this off. They have the same kind of point value. So, for instance, this is a 27-point vehicle. This one's also 27. That one's 27. That's 27. The other two up there are also 27. Why 27? Well, I built Leadfoot basically how it looked, because it was one of the first ones that I did. And I said, okay, with this look, what does this vehicle do? And I priced it out within the parameters of what weapons cost and everything, and I came up with 27 points. And the next one I did the same thing with. I came really close to 27. I'm like, let's make them both the same. Because then it's like, then they're all equal. They're not equal because not everything's equal, but at least they're close. It's just not arbitrary. You know, somebody using a 42-point vehicle and somebody using a 23-point vehicle. So 27 is one of the categories. Okay. This armored truck, this is the 44-point category. I believe that's what we decided it was going to be, is 44 points. 27, 44, I'm sure there's going to be a category under 27. So at that point, it's like, this needs to be 27. It's not a huge vehicle. The dump truck, the garbage truck, this is going to be a 44-pointer. The redneck mobile with a big old cannon, it's a 44-pointer. The boom boom bus, it's a 44-pointer. It's not going to be called the boom boom bus, but when I say, hey, where's the boom boom bus, everybody's going to know what it is, because that's what it does. It goes around playing, a lot of bass. So I designed this as a 27-point vehicle because now we've got like 7 of them. Okay, now we got a thing going. All right. And that's just kind of a base. You can actually make more. If you say, okay, well, we're going to play with 30 points, you just take these 27-point vehicles and give the drivers some perks, because it doesn't really change what weapons you visually see on the car. And you're good to go. So this is actually the only vehicle that has, so far, that has a perk that would normally be in the game reserved for a team. I don't know what team gets this, but I looked at this car, and this perk goes with this vehicle. Okay? All right, so this Maisto, these are actually Chinese vehicles, like they're made in China. Okay, and the biggest problem with that is that they don't assemble in a normal way. They are very odd. They're very, very odd. So much that they have no interior, so you've got to use the windows. And the bottom of the window actually acts as the place, the notches for the tires to fit in. So there's actually a small set in the front, a small set in the back. I'll show you what this looks originally and what we're going to tinker with it. And here's the bottom, which has been violated. Trying to get it. This one was a pain in the ass to get out. So we're going to hot glue gun this thing all together, right? We don't want the wheels to roll, and it'll be just fine. So this is what it used to look like. Okay, pretty cool looking car. It looks kind of like it looks like a Charger, but it's 2-door. It looks more like a Charger than a Challenger, but I think it's influenced by a Challenger. Now the back of it certainly looks like a Honda Accord of the mid-1990s. But it's a cool looking vehicle. It's got a wind, I forget what the hell it's called. So you can get more air to cool the engine on it. And that's it. So this is not going to be a performance vehicle. It's going to be a car. So automatically we're going to be 12 points. Okay? By the way, this thing is probably going to have some gold accents. Okay? And I look at the color of this, and I look at the shape of this, and that looks like a snake. It looks like a python to me. So I'm temporarily calling it the pimped python. Okay? That's temporarily what it's going to be called. So based on that, I want weapons that kind of go with that kind of motif. All right? So the other vehicle that is similar to this and also happens to be green is where is she? Mr. Green Screen. Okay? Mr. Green Screen, this thing's beautiful. This thing will be cool too. We're just not there yet. Mr. Green Screen has a nitro at it. So I didn't want to make them both the same, even though they're going to be different cars. I want them to have a little bit of a difference. And if you're able to add perks, that you could literally have 2 cars that are exactly the same, but they have different perks and they behave differently. All right. So this thing is going to have an oil slick. and it's going to have a rear ram. Okay, and the reason why it's going to have a rear ram is the perk that it has. Okay, now all these vehicles aren't going to be awesome in one game and maybe in another. They might be really good at, they might be better at Death Race, and they might be not as good as something else. Okay, so it is going to have a ram at the rear, and that is, if it gets rear-ended, it can ram the guy back, right? It's not just a sitting target, which is when somebody rams you and did. So this is for protection at the start, really. You start in that starting lineup, somebody wants to ram you, they're gonna take themselves out as well. The perk it's going to have is called Hell for Leather, and that costs 5 points. And what Hell for Leather does is really pretty cool. And let me find it. So I can read it exactly what it means. Okay? Hell for Leather. Not to be confused with Highway to Hell. And I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed that I built this Porsche in black, named it on my own as Schadenfreude. And there's a perk called Schadenfreude in there. You copycats. I didn't even look at that. I'd never looked at the perks before. And it doesn't have that perk. Anyhow, this is Hell for Leather. It's a speed thing. So it's a speed perk. This vehicle considers long straight to be permitted in any gear. The long straight is not considered either hazardous or trivial in any gear. So, basically it means when you're in first gear, you can play a long straight. So it's going to be able to move right off the bat in lower gears faster. The long straight is normally only usable in 5th and 6th gear. So that's pretty handy. Now, what's the drawback? The drawback is not very well armed. You got an oil slick on the back. You got a rear ram. And unless you're going to back into somebody, it's just a defensive weapon whatsoever. What else does it have? A front-mounted heavy machine gun. Not on a turret. That's it. And then, of course, it's got 2 crew members. One of them gets a Magnum. And a Magnum basically means that they have a long-range weapon. It's only 1d6, but it can fire 360 degrees all the way around, just like the pistol. Okay, so we're going to have a long-range weapon, heavy machine gun fires only forward, which is basically the width of the car. Again, its width plus a width on either side forward. A Magnum that also fires long range. Basically, the passenger is the one shooting that. You know, you got some sniper in there or whatever. It's just considered a Magnum in the game. Doesn't necessarily mean a high-powered something. Okay, and the passenger would have that. And a pistol for the other guy. That's it. So we'll see how that plays, but that basically means it plays different than this one. Just figured it'd be cool. Okay, so we need a ram that's going to fit on the rear. And one thing I want to do before I decide to use these rims that I'm actually okay with, I want to see what these rims look like, if they even work. Because, hell, these are already gold. And by the way, this is going to be one of the urban gangster vehicles. Or at least that's what my intention is. Let's see. These wheels might actually be a little too small for this. It would look good on, say, the Mexican lowriders, which apparently the Mexican lowriders have sometimes. They have really small wheels on things. Urban Outfitters. Yeah. Okay. Here's the front. And my intention is to make no 2 vehicles exactly the same. They could be similar, but... And that keeps you, if you stay like within a point range, you know, you can't like, oh, well, this thing's awesome in every way. Well, no shit, it's a 47-point vehicle, you know? All right, let's see if... it may not look right. That's why I wanted to look and see what this looked like before. This is such an awkward way to do this. Oh, the rear ones fit in. Question of the front one's small enough. It might actually work. And this is exactly kind of the paint scheme that I wanted. There was a ride at Busch Gardens called the Python for many years. And it had this yellow-green type of color scheme, if you will. And the front of this reminds me of a Python, you know, from above. It's having trouble getting in the back. The back got mangled badly trying to get it to loosen up. It was a rather pain in the ass. Yeah, now we're warm. I fucking like it. I really do. The only drawback to this, there's only one drawback, is that this is not a modern vehicle. What does that mean? Well, that means that I can't go to a store and buy another one of these. I got this basically at the flea market. So I just need to find other wheels for it. Now, these wheels may just end up fitting just fine. Let's do that. Let's see if we can do a horse swap. Where is the bottom body of this thing? You know, I'll tell you what. Let's just see. It should be here. It's in my parts box. God, this chair's driving me fucking crazy. The bitching chair. And then I'm bitching about it bitching. Alright, let's see if we can find the underbody here. Yeah, I mean, here's other wheels. These are the wheels off the this Boom Boom truck that I got specifically only. I got it only for that speaker thing on it. So maybe those are the wheels I should put on the Python. I literally have no use for them. And it has a smaller front and a larger back. I don't know if you guys can tell, those of you guys that have been to my channel several times, I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I really am. I feel like, you know, this isn't my first love, but I like cars enough. And I'm learning new skills, and I'm being creative, and, you know, I'm having a blast with it. It's cheap as hell, even though I've got like 70 fucking cars. I don't like this method of assembly. These Maisto cars are pretty cool. They have some designs that are exaggerated, and I think the exaggerated actually helps in this game. It looks, I appropriate. Get in there. Okay, now we will rotate this down. There we go. Let's see what this looks like. I like that. I like that. And there's nothing wrong with these wheels, but they're very similar to the ones that are on Leadfoot. Leadfoot's the same maker. All right, so we're going to leave this one alone. I couldn't find the bottom of it. It's over here. Losing my mind. Losing my mind. So I'm going to get the hot glue gun, and we're going to go ahead and close this thing up. Okay, because there's really no reason not to close this thing up. And this goes with something completely different, so we'll put the body over there. Let's go get the hot glue gun, which is immediate gratification. Yeah, if you add the perks, I mean, and you can keep it simple, just like, okay, don't give anybody more than one perk. Or, you know, maybe somebody that's really weak, they get two. Just to kind of balance everything out, and then you roll to see what car you start with. You know, or let people pick, or, you know, whatever. But we need to glue this together before we can add some of the other stuff. So we hope this will do the trick. Happy Monday, folks. You don't hear that enough. So then I was designing this thing. I'm like, okay, this has got to have some kind of a flame weapon, right? So what's the first flame weapon you think of? A flamethrower, right? Well, the problem with a flamethrower is it takes up 2 build slots. So if this thing has a flamethrower, it can't have any other weapon. And a flamethrower attacks relatively short. So it's definitely going to have a napalm dropper. Maybe they'll just have a napalm dropper and then have a machine gun on it or something like that. This thing's asking to have like 2 machine guns, forward facing, like up here. Like a 1940s car. See, I started reading like, a rear ram? Why the hell would you want a rear ram? Well, when you're off in the start and somebody wants to ram you, guess what? They get rammed back. You can have rams on the side. I think if you pick a side, you get both sides. So if you wanted to soak up 3 build slots, you could put a ram on the front, back, and the sides. But that's 3 build slots. And unless you have a heavy truck, I think everything else has 3 and less. So, you know, why would you want to build a vehicle that has no weapons at all? Well, you'd still get the crew members, you know. Like this thing. This thing has the boombox. The boombox takes up everything. So what does it have? Other than that, people inside shooting out the windows. So it comes with 8 guys standards. That's 8d6 shooting around. Now, of course, they have to be in medium range. I would have liked to put a ram on it, but I can't, according to the game. You know, I'd like to not start deviating from that. I'd like to think that there's reasons why they put the point value of things at a certain way. I could be wrong, you know. This could be one of those games that by the time we're done, like DBA, we'll actually have played the game infinitely more times than the author has. That could very well be the case. But, you know, the author may have an agenda that I don't have, you know. Okay, so we're going to put some hot glue there. We're going to put some in the roof. And that should do it. So Where does this sit on here? Like that, okay. And we got one little string that came out of here. It's no mess. If you make a mess, you just pull it off. You know, it doesn't need to be super durable. We're not going to be, we're not going to give these to a toddler. Not that kind of game. All right. Now we're going to glue this in place. And the rims or the wheels are already the correct color. Of course, they'll be weathered. Yeah, some of these Maestos are actually pretty cool looking vehicles. They're exaggerated, but so is Hippie Kaye, who happens to be a Hot Wheels. All right, I think we have a problem with this fitting in here because it got so mangled. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut some of this off so it fits in there a little easier. Okay, and do the same thing here. Fits fine on the front. It's the back where we've got this gap back here. I've used X-Acto knives damn near my whole life, and it's not until now that I encounter that they're always getting loose. They loosen up on you. And I'm not doing any twisting activities. All right, how do I get this thing to go down deeper? It might be that this got twisted. Now, we have a couple of rear rams to choose from. So I suspect that either one will probably cover this nicely. Or you're not going to be able to see this. And be able to, dude, learn how to talk. Yeah, I think that one will fit just fine. And it's literally like two middle fingers. Like, screw you, come ram me if you want. It's your demise, mortal. Alright, so let's remove this. And then we're going to put more hot glue there and here. It's not fitting in there. It'll be fine. It'll be just fine. This thing was a pain to disassemble. And in retrospect, I probably wouldn't have needed to disassemble it other than to change out these wheels. Which at the time I didn't know I was going to do. Alright, let's... Again, we're loose yet again. Let's cut that bit off there. Yeah, it's like this got all twisted out of shape and... Not really noticeable, especially when we put this on there. Alright, so this is already at that angle. This is fitting flush up against it. Let's try using this, and if this doesn't work, then we'll use epoxy. And the rams that these people make, that was my favorite thing that they make. These rams are great looking. And yeah, we're going to try to color match this to this. I bet I'll be able to get pretty close. Probably my favorite thing to do, ironically enough. Alright, and this is a double machine gun. Man, that looks beautiful there. The other alternative, I really don't want to put it on the roof, because it makes it look like automatically that it's a turret. So the other option is actually you could put it the side here. I mean, you could make it, you know, on the side, shooting forward. You know, it's not like, oh, okay, well you're blocked by the car. You can't shoot over a little bit. I don't really want to put it on top of that. And I'm liking this double one. It's a heavy machine gun, so you're like, okay, well, it's just two machine guns, just 3 dice. See what other options we have. We have a lot. It's a good looking car. A really good looking car. All right. Let's get the other readers out. Flamethrowers over here, none of them. What I wanted to look at was this. These are the ones from Autokill. The first ones that I got. And has several designs of guns that are shooting through. Look at this thing. That is freaking cool. And these are resin. These are cast really, really well. Alright, we've got some of these guns and stuff like that that would work through the windshield. This one. This looks awesome. This looks awesome. Unfortunately, you're stuck with the angle of the windshield. So in other words, if your windshield is angled too much, you have an angle here that it needs to match, and if not, the gun's pointed up or down, or it might look awkward. Although that looks like just a stubby cannon, so that might not be the best choice. It has some. This is a machine gun looking thing that you could literally put it right here. These are too cool. So we have a lot of options. Yeah, look at this. Same thing. This is like, it has this angle, so that's got to match whatever you put it on. Otherwise, it's like pointing up at the sky or something. So I think something like that might not be bad. Of course, then you can't open the hood, right? Because it's in the way of the hood being opened. Gotta be practical. Must we? Yeah. Yeah, we must. I'm gonna put it back here. I don't have one of these. It's like off to one side. Is this one too large? It's a double, so. Oh. All right. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put this one, and we're going to put it like this. That way the door opens. It opens underneath this gun. It's mounted back here. Maybe we'll even put some marks on here where we got some burn marks or something. Because the other alternative is to put it here, and the car looks pretty sweet because of the long nose that it has. Hence the Python name. So we're going to put it over here. And if I don't like it, we'll change it. Now, I'm going to try to hot glue gun it. I probably used too much. Wobbly? Well, it doesn't roll. I think that looks good. I think that looks good, but we won't really know until we paint it. So next step, let's prime this stuff black that we just added. And then while that's drying, we'll do black lining on it. Yeah, I mean, I don't want every single vehicle that has, geez, that's hot. Every single vehicle, I don't want it to be the same. I don't want to have guns in the same places. It's a ridiculous game. Let's make it let's make it look reasonable, but it doesn't have to be. All right. Is these the super readers? They are. Okay. The other advantage of using a hot glue gun is if you're using super glue and it hasn't set yet, you don't have to worry about your brush getting destroyed by it. So let's go to the bumper first. And hopefully, with any luck, we can get this guy done tonight. That's going to be my goal. So, hopefully, you guys will help me by, keeping me awake. I got coffee to keep me going, but that green. I'm going to be able to get really close. And add a little bit of the silver. The silver's going to lighten it up a little bit. You can tell I can't wait to do this. That's going to be really close. This with a little bit of silver. Also, this goblin green from Games Workshop probably will work as well. Nope. No, that's cool. That's closer. Golden olive from Vallejo. We'll do a little test for that. Now, we've got golden rims on here. We've got some details down here, which we're probably going to put some gold accents to it. We might make the grill gold, and that's it. No more pimping other than that. I mean, It's kind of like a Granny Smith color. Golden apple. There's one guy I know that's gonna. I bet he's gonna love this car. It's cool. I don't pick cars because it looks stupid. And I'm really getting a thrill out of being able to use the original color of the car. First of all, it's a huge time saver. I don't have to strip the car, which takes forever. And I have to sit overnight. And I don't have to, and yeah, this thick paint covers up some of the detail, but it's not really worth it. And it helps me to decide what color to paint it. Well, it's already in green, so let's make it a green one. Now, if I had my heart set on this vehicle being a different color, yeah, we'd repaint it. But I don't really. Well, I'll have you know I went to a store after work today that had Hot Wheels and I didn't buy any. Because I already had all the ones from there that I wanted. but they had significantly less. Last time I went there was at about a week ago, and they probably had 25% of what they had before. So somebody's buying a shitload of Hot Wheels. And I would much rather paint this on the vehicle than paint it separately and glue it later. I can reach anything I can see. These Mastos actually have names of the vehicles on the bottom of them. Like Leadfoot happened to be called Leadfoot. I'm like, I'm going to go with that. This one happened to be called Slayer, which works, except the color. This color doesn't scream Slayer, you know? Not to me, anyways. Alright, this is all the black painted bits. We're going to let that dry, and we're going to go ahead and get... a little bit of that wash came off there. Well, when we dry brush that, you won't be able to tell that. The wash is just there so it doesn't all look uniform, the same color. Alright, let's get dark tone, I believe is what it's called. Nope, that's rough iron. Dark tone. Well, we did all the rivets on the armored car Sunday morning. That was a pain in the ass. I believe we did that yesterday. Or was the previous morning? It was yesterday. So this is going to be a hell of a lot easier than that. Less of a pain in the ass. Put some water here to cut that down as we need. What's going on here? This isn't as, that's going to need a good cleaning. There we go. And some people swear doing this with enamels, they don't work any better. I would think that they would. They don't. I don't think they do. So I see no reason in using enamels. I mean, it's good that they have them so consumers have other options, but... a little too messy for my taste there. Let's clean that up and reapply it. Door jam there. So the game I did yesterday, for the suggestion of a couple of you, was a lot of fun to do. However, I haven't gotten very many views at all, which is a bit disappointing, but it was fun to do, and it was a refresher course for myself. The more practice I have playing it, the better it's going to go when we have a lot of people on. Oh. No, I guess that dried already. Now, I took it upon myself to clear coat this in flat before I did anything else. I disassembled it as I figured the flat needs to be able to hold on to this wash. If I try doing this wash on top of the surface that it came with, it's too slippery. It won't adhere. I don't know if other people that repaint Hot Wheels do that, but in my painting experience, it seemed like that was going to be the way to go. Definitely to do that. I'm going to go back over here to where the door is. And we'll give it another run. Alright, I don't think we're quite dry on this to be able to color match that yet. Let's go around this intake. Intake! That's what it's called. Normally on turbo cars, my car has an intake, not this big. Of course, my car's more nimble than that thing. This is definitely a rear-wheel drive beast with looks like it's definitely got at least 600 horsepower, maybe more than that. That's why that speed seemed appropriate, that it could play that straight. So if this thing gets pole position at the beginning of Death Race, it's gone. It's going to get a good head start and not even have to use a nitro. All right. All right. We still have some black, but this is primer black. Let's get regular black out here. Primer black is a little shiny. This is not. All right, what are we painting in this color? Well, I don't know what the hell those details are on it. But I'm going to paint them in black so that we can go over them in gold, or the same color that the rims are in. Okay, because this is a pimped out car, so we need to have, a little bit of stuff that stands out. Maybe that as well. Let's just do all that. And we don't judge it until it's fully weathered. Take the front grille, I'm going to paint it black. Because we're going to make it golden color. And that's all the golden stuff that we're going to have. We're not going to put, a golden intake or none of that nonsense. Although the inside of the intake needs to be painted like it's got an opening in it or something. There we go. I don't think a car like this would have turbo. It'd be naturally aspirated, I would think. All right. What's next? How are we looking on this rear bumper? Got some wet spots in a couple places. We have our black here. You know what? I'm going to switch this out and use one that doesn't have the color before. I don't want to end up mixing primer in with it, right? So let's get a little splooge of this. Okay, a little bit of water. And I'm going to use a little boy's root before we go any further. Be right back. And before I go any further, I do need to do stuff on the back. I need to. I'm going to paint this license plate area black. And this back here, we're going to paint all of this black except for the little round taillight part. Well, you know what? I'm just going to paint the whole damn thing black, and then we can come in and do the taillights themselves. Okay. And the front headlamps as well, because we like painting our own. These just have silver paint. We do better than that. I think this is supposed to be a Challenger. And Challengers have the little cool, the little rings of light around them, like they're daytime. I hate the concept of a daytime running light. God, I hate that. Yeah, something happened here. This is not all the way down. It'll work, but it'll work. All right. Okay, so we have that. That needs to dry. We're going to color match the bumper. All right, so the color match, or get close-ish. I actually don't want it to be the same color as the bumper. We have a golden olive and a green olive. I think the golden olive is going to be the one that's going to be. Is this another one? Lime green. No, because we have to mix a metallic color in it. We don't have to. I'm going to choose to. And so I'm going to do a couple little test batches here. Man, I really need to buy some index cards. This is like perfect for an index card. We'll do it on here. We got lots of this stuff. So we're going to take some of the core color. This is an old brittle bottle. We've got to be careful. We're going to have a deluge of paint coming out. All right, so we're going to do a couple of test batches. We're going to use this color, and we're going to mix it with some metallics. Okay, now this is kind of light, so I don't think the mithril silver is going to work. I think the mithril silver is too light. I think the one in the middle is probably going to be the right one to use. So we'll try that one first, which is Ironbreaker, I believe. What proportion? I have no idea. Okay? Not much metallic. Alright, so let's get something that's not too small. Something that's not too fucked up either. Just too damn small. Let's use this brush right here. Let's use this brush. All right, so we're going to put some metallic here. Let's get almost all of it out. And then let's grab some green. I bet it's going to be close enough. I'm going to go with this metallic. I think a brighter one is just going to lighten it up too much. Now, it's not going to cover great, and that's okay, because I want this bumper to be an afterthought. And we're going to have some corrosion on the bumper and stuff like that. It wasn't, it's not made as good as the rest of the car. But I wanted to make it look like they attempted to color match it. It's going to look grand. Now, I'm going to make this bumper look like it's been scraped up before. It's had a run-in. Alright, so now once we got that, this is going to take multiple coats, but that's okay. Now, I want to take this color. Now, how does this appear on here? That's enough. I don't want to go crazy with this thing. All right. Now, we're not going to throw gold right on top of it. I don't think we're going to use iron. But we are going to use... we got 2 golds on here. We got old gold. And is it the other one called new gold? No, it's not. It's probably just called gold. Did I not put it away? Is it this one? It is just called gold. Exactly. Okay. Let's close this up. Use something smaller. I gotta thin it down just so it flows properly. And what works really well with this metallic paint that is usually too thick, but you have to thin it down, otherwise it won't cover well. It's almost like stipple it when you apply it. I've had really good results with that. Like, go kind of thick, and then just gently go up and down, ever so slightly, as Mitch would say if he painted. Just like that. I don't know if I want this other trim on it. Maybe just those 2 little things on there. Yeah, I think having the other gold trim on that isn't going to look right. So I think what we're going to do is come over here. There we go. It's still green, but it looks a little different. Of course, we're going to weather over this, but that looks pretty damn good. That looks pretty damn good. All right, I'm going to go grab a soda. I'll be right back. I don't know if we can finish tonight, but we're definitely on the right track. This detail down here is exactly how I was kind of envisioning it. To the grill. The old bronze color. That was a color that I was actually looking at it put down first. No, that's going to need to be cleaned. Alright, so we're going to put these stripes on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to... Boy, that's a sloppy way of doing the black. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to... It's not deep enough to dry brush. If I dry brush this in gold, you're not going to be able to see anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to thin this down to where it's workable. And then we're going to start in the middle, and we're going to paint these stripes from one side to the other. And we want a pull on this. That's how you get neater stripes. And once you have that one there, you kind of pace yourself with the other ones. Okay? And then what we're going to do is, to clean it up some, we're going to make that gold brighter. And make the line thinner. And people always say, oh, you should just get a paint marker. I don't want to use paint marker for a couple of reasons. First of all, the tips are hard. So you end up scratching the surface, and you cannot adjust the size of the marker tip. It's whatever it is. You're stuck with it. That looks pretty good. And then what we're going to do is We're going to go to the brightest one. And then we're probably going to do a black wash over it. Kind of tie all that together. Okay, so now we've got a golden grill. All right. Front headlights involve using black and white. None of this blue nonsense. We're going to make a gray. Almost like a Panzer gray. And cover the entire headlight in it, except maybe a little bit of the rim around it in black. Okay, then what we're going to do, it doesn't matter that wet, we're going to lighten this up a little bit, and we're going to put a crescent at the bottom. Almost like the mouth on a smiley face. Kind of like that, but thicker. And it can be kind of thick. Just like that. Then we're going to lighten it up a little bit more. Oh yeah. Man, I love this hobby. I had a really good weekend this past weekend because I was working on this stuff. So I stayed really positive. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put a dot at the top. And the dot can be oblong a little bit in pure white. Yeah, we're going to bring this up a little bit more. Not quite pure white, but close-ish. Same thing. Now we'll put this on the top. I love doing headlamps. Once I figured out how to do them, I think it was when I did 3 Opal Blitz trucks back to back. Those like freaking knocked out of the park. That looks good. You guys want to see? You got to type something to let me know. I'm not going to show you unless somebody speaks up. All this for a freaking $1 item. Or $1.18 or however much they are. We haven't weathered yet. We haven't added rust yet. I personally don't like cars that look like a junkyard. Because then, I mean, there's some people out there that are really talented, but every vehicle looks the same. And I don't want this to be the same color as something else. No, just you bots? Okay, got it. Alright. The body of this machine gun could be green. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the darkest color that's metallic. That's not the rust one. Okay? We save this we save this rough iron for things that are rusty. There's a lot of orange in that. Iron Warriors. Iron Warriors, Lead Belcher, and Iron Breaker. Okay? Lead Belcher is this one. This is the 3. And we have mithril silver, but we're not going to use mithril silver for this. Okay, so we're going to paint this in base Iron Warriors. Yeah, it's just you bots. I'm sitting here talking to myself with you bots. Oh well, I'm getting shit done. I do this for me. If anybody finds any value in this, well, that's just an added bonus. We're going to paint the body of this in this color. I don't know what color this is, so we'll just paint this color for now. Alright, now we're going to go up a step, which is Lead Belcher. That's a good name for a vehicle. It's a little brighter. Same thing with Iron Breaker. All right, just something like that. Let's get that dark tone wash. And you can make some intermediate metallic colors by, adding one of these silver type colors with the gold one. I've done that before on some of my ancient armies. Kind of do it in between. But this is definitely the way for me to move forward. Design the car first. Well, look at the car. What does the car look like it would be armed with? Then design it. Then paint it. And, build stuff for it. Not build all this cool stuff and then realize, oh man, I don't really want a 63-point car. I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paint where the black lines are, the left. I'm going to add wash in there. Oh yeah, man. Well, I'd show you guys close up, but you bots aren't speaking up, so. Let's do more of this in here. And we got rear headlights. Well, that's only if you're going backwards. Now that this is relatively dry, I'm going to come in and add this black wash to this that we painted. Now, these Maisto guys have a couple other vehicles that I have of theirs. I think 3 other ones that are also really cool. Everything they make is not great, okay? I don't like all their stuff. But they have a van that just happens to be green, that's metallic. That thing is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. The color is amazing. It's probably the nicest color I've ever seen in my entire life on a vehicle. I'm not kidding. I really like it. I would love my own personal vehicle to be that color. It's a head turning color, that's for sure. And that's a van. And then I also have a, I'm not looking forward to taking them apart. They're going to be a messed up way to take them apart. And they're going to have that weird undercarriage and shit like that I got to deal with. So. Man, the coffee's just going through me. I got to go take another leak. Makes me pee a lot. I don't know about, people say coffee makes you do the other thing in the bathroom. Not me. It's for me, it's coffee and tea just make me pee like crazy. I'll be right back. All right. Let's continue on. This is going to stay green. We're going to have some bare metal where it's been, somebody's decided to take a poke at this thing. Almost like rear tusks, like a reverse warthog. Warthogs are all tusky and shit like that. All right. The headlamps are freaking awesome. Hey, it's a little cartoonish. That's the look that I want. Yeah, it looks freaking great. All right. I'm always like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Whether I want to weather first and then do the rusting, the mild corrosion, or the other way around. I think that we're going to. Let's see. Well, we got to do the rear lamps. Let me look at what the back of the Charger looks like. A Challenger, because it's definitely influenced by a Challenger. Challenger rear lights. Oh, no, it's not. These are round. Okay. Well, I'm not going to paint anything. Yeah, the front of the. Okay, what about Charger rear? But the Charger's a two-door car. No, Charger has ugly rear lights. In my opinion, these almost look like the lights of a Skyline. It looks Skyline-ish. Let's look and see what that is. I don't want to paint all 4 of them red when the inside would look better. In white. They're all 4 red on the Skyline. I love the way this back of a Skyline looks. Okay. Red it is. Yeah, I like doing all this stuff because it looks like a car that's been modified, not just some vehicle of mass destruction. Alright, so again, we're going to mix some black with this. Thin this down a little bit so we can work with it. Add a little bit of red, so we've got like a dark red color. Paint the entire headlamp with that. Actually, they're not circular, they're oval a little bit. Okay, now that's done. We're going to come in and lighten it up a little bit. And probably can use the same strategy that we did with the front headlights for the back ones. Yeah. Except we're going to take this color and we're going to add a little bit of white. Yeah, I'm not going to go in and grab the yellow. White just works just fine for what we're going to do here. Pink would even work too. That looks good. That looks good. And I'm going to actually take this black and I'm going to mix it with, what have we been using? We've been using, I want to say it's this one. It's like sandstone. Yeah. Instead of white. So a little bit of that. Now we need more sandstone than that. It's not going to make a difference. All right, now the part where maybe I'll fuck up everything I've been doing. That's the weathering part. And we don't want to go super heavy. And we're going to use our colors. Chocolate brown. I'm going to just throw it right here. Chocolate brown. Nothing crazy, but some. And then we'll go up one step, which is US field drab, and do the same thing. I'm not even going to rinse this. And last but not least, Iraqi sand. The color known as Iraqi sand. Of course, we overdid ourselves. Outdid ourselves. I want this bulletproof glass to be really dark, like a gangsters would have one of those. Really dark windscreen. All right, now we add Tony's tones. Mid brown, light tone, and soft tone. Now, something's obviously weird because I've been on here almost 2 hours and haven't had a single comment. Not even a person asked me to eat a live cockroach, which wouldn't do him any good asking me. True story. because these are almost gel-like. And this is where we start getting into these rusty look. Like this was made out of just, maybe not pot metal, but it was definitely welded. Not factory primered or anything like that. And definitely looks like this is an aftermarket. Now this gun is sitting on the side of here, and when it rains, water is going to collect here in this spot, and it's going to drip down and create these rust stains here. Same thing back here. We want to make this stand out. This thing is looking pretty darn good. You know, and other than the flat coat on it, I think this guy's done. This thing looks pretty darn good. I'm really happy with it. I think we're good to go. Okay, folks, so there you have it. So we'll see you guys on the next one. And